All right. Welcome everyone on to Smash Trivia and to the first year our anniversary episode of the Gamma Analysis.
I didn't know I was in the.
Oh, and as always, I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything happening with me. I'll be the one with the pale green head in the profile picture. I'm so excited to get into this. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I review everything Hulk, all the movies and TV shows. Hope you enjoy this special episode. And I want to ask everyone listening if they please do sign for me. Hey, please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. For this episode, as this is the first anniversary episode, we're not going to be reviewing something, but we will actually be reacting to something. We're going to be reacting to ourselves in the first two episodes of the podcast. As always, I'd like to take a moment to say that Smash Trivia now is a Patreon, so please check that out. We have some fantastic extra content on there. I bet you'll love. Of the tiers are as follows: $1 a month is Hulka Holla for $1. $3 a month is the reading room with Hulkie and Shulkie, and $5 a month is Smashing the TV. I'm joined by my co-host Keith, who I'm honestly so grateful that he has joined me for this journey over the last year. He has helped me so goddamn much. Thank you, man.
Oh, thank you. That was very sweet of you to say, man. Yeah, this has been this last. I can't believe it's been a year. First of all, but no, it's been a huge, awesome opportunity to get to just talk lightly about one of my favorite topics, which is television, and how funny it is to see the change in television over time. And for you to introduce me to a character I never thought that I would be so crazy about, the Hulk.
Yeah. A lot of people may know this, or they may not. But but a big part of why I started this podcast was it was just a couple days after my dad passed away, and I and this was in a way a sort of distraction for me, and I'm so glad that people were willing to help me through that and also and um wanted to listen to what I had to say. That's something I never would have thought people would want to do.
Mm.
So it's kind of been amazing what has happened this past year, and as I said, I'm so glad that you took this journey on with me.
Well, you've got a really great perspective, man. And when I got to know you over the course of both being fans of the Avengers podcast and just meeting through that, and the your dedication to trivia and more specifically just, well, like I say, just pop culture, but also specifically Hulk and superheroes of the like. You have a obvious affinity for it and passion for it, and quizzing people and running your own trivia nights was a lot of fun, and so it's really awesome to join you on this.
Yeah. So as always, we have our Hulka Holla for $1, which is Derek Sager, Film Critter, and Gabriel Floral. And for the month of not October, for the month of November, since this is my birthday month, as well as the I haven't been saying this part art throughout the rest of the month because I didn't want to bring it down. But a big part of why I chose these links is very specifically because as I was someone who dealt with a lot of child abuse growing up, so I decided I wanted to have links to donate to charities areas that are for the working on awareness and the prevention of child abuse. Those are all in the description. They are our Child Help and the Chadwick Center. So if you have any money some spare money, I recommend and giving some money to these charities because they definitely need it. We definitely need to bring more awareness to this and the fact that there's a lot of people suffering in the world, and there's a lot of people who don't know that they're suffering because it's sadly really easy to hide when a child's being abused.
Absolutely.
So before we start getting into our reactions and cringing at ourselves, I really want to real quick say something really cool happened over the past few days. So last week we reviewed on the podcast a episode of the '70s Hulk called Ricky, and I voiced my frustration during that review about how IMDb uses the R slur in these synopsis for that episode. And after I released that episode, a listener of the show, also the host of the podcast that I did a recommendation thing for or last week, is upcoming of the trivial Mad Libs thing. John, he actually apparently is a contributor to IMDb, and he submitted it for a change on that synopsis. So now instead of it using the R slur, it calls Ricky a mentally a handicapped young man, and so I I am so happy to see that my podcast has made a positive change.
Yeah, we're changing the world one IMDb page at a time. I can't wait to see what else we can do with the next episodes coming forward. If we think of anything that's okay, quick, check the profile. What do they call this guy?
Oh god. Oh yeah. So let's now get start getting into our reactions and cringing at ourselves, while also hopefully being able to find some find that we have accomplished something, hopefully with sounding better now after a year, and more comfortable and more professional. Right. So I'm going to share air my screen. I do have it disabled again.
Yes, I do, don't I? It must be automatic. Hang on. Hang on. Advanced, all participants. Okay, I think you're good to go now.
All right. So, and it should be just sharing sound as well. All right, Keith.
It should. Yes, right. I will double check, but right. Yeah, it's all under one. And we can do a test as well.
Yeah. This okay. I don't know why it's not pulling up these. So, do you see the see? Does it say up in the top right corner or Gamma Analysis first episode or episode 2?
It says episode 2.
Okay. This is annoying because apparently my computer is not allowing me to share on the first one of the 2 episodes. Okay, there we go. Here's episode 1. All right.
Oh, do you have to have one open at a time?
No, I got it working. So
okay.
All right. I'm gonna press play in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything that's happening.
I don't like how you can hear so much of the
big old green head
my blowing into the microphone and stuff like that.
I'm excited to get into this. This is the start.
I can't wait to hear how loud I am.
Called The Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm gonna review everything.
I've talked really slow.
All the movies and TV shows, and maybe at some point, I could get into comics, but that's a while off. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia presents The Gamma Analysis. For this first episode, I'm gonna review Hulk 2003. But first, I have a trivia question for you. How many issues did the original Hulk comic series last? I'll give the answer later in the episode.
As we're listening, Keith, do you have any ideas for how many
classic Marvel
that was? Oh God!
Hulk smashingly amazing. I love the mutating
I
cells.
think I
turning
might
into the
have it.
Hulk
I think I
logo.
might remember what
I like how
it
it
was.
shows his
I
dad's
think it might be like
insane
6
scientific
X
test
issues,
at the
but
beginning.
yeah.
How
Maybe
much
this
did
is
you
just
edit this?
how
Did
houses
you?
looked in the 70s. I don't know. I wasn't
so
alive.
originally
But I kind
I
of
did not
feel like
edit
the look
this
of the
at all.
childhood house
I actually,
is a
but I
reference to
did
how houses
last
look
week
in
actually
the Lou
edit
Ferrigno
all
Hulk
of
show.
the
I
dead
like
air
the
points out of it
visualization
so
of
that I could
Hulk's of
so that just to
Bruce's
make it be a
cells
little bit
looking
nicer
green
for
and purple,
our
the main
recording
colors
today.
that the Hulk is associated with.
But
I
I did
love
not
that they got
edit
both
any
Lou
at all
Ferrigno and
originally.
Stan Lee
I didn't
cameoing
start
at
editing my
the same
podcast
time. I love
the
the
third
comic
episode
booky
last year.
style
Are you
scene
able to turn it
transition.
down a bit so we're louder than the episode?
After I had only been
Let me
watching
see.
for 15.
Let me see. See if
I only ask because it's hard to hear you and know which you I'm talking to.
let's see if this works. That's a little bit too.
It's a little too quiet. Yeah,
I was already enjoying
How's that sound?
that's good. That's good. Yeah.
more than the last time that I watched The Incredible Hulk from 2008.
It's funny because
Honestly,
you sound like you're doing like a teleplay or like a radio play instead of
So
like obviously you have no one that you're back and forthing with. But
yeah, so that I hadn't seen ants for this, so when I did this, since I didn't have anyone to talk to, for the most part, I used my notes basically as just a script to read off.
Yeah.
So I was just reading off a script basically for this, and there were every once in a while I think I added a couple of things just off the top of my head, but mostly it was just reading out the script, which
when it seems you
it's kind of a pain sometimes. I was to
the lab
record just my voice talking for so long. It's so much easier having a co-host to do this.
It makes sense because you're giving yourself a bit of a break. Plus, there's like ideas brought up on the fly.
Yeah, and it feels like a natural conversation and not just
Bruce's father.
Obviously, me sounding like I'm reading off a script.
So you're reviewing what right now? You're reviewing the
2003 Hulk.
The banner. Okay.
Look of this Hulk. It has such a great green color.
He was very bright green. I remember.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
Gamma science equipment, and
they did a good job of making it look like Eric Bana too.
Through the wall.
Yeah. Definitely a lot better job than it was with Edward Norton.
Oh yeah, Edward Norton didn't look anything like that. Yeah, they could have used anybody. It's like the way that Shrek was originally supposed to be voiced by Chris Farley, and you're like, wait, he doesn't look anything like Mike Myers.
I love that Betty isn't just a love interest in this. She's a scientist, just like Bruce's. I love that they included I think it's a very big thing for Hulk. The angrier he gets, the
bigger he gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that he picked a red. I like they picked the red couch into just some random person's house.
Is that something? So in the comics, how many comics I wonder have done that route, or was it just in the movie?
God.
I believe that the angrier he got, the bigger he got. I think was something originally done for this film. I don't believe it was something that it had been a big thing in the comics. I think there might have been since then. There's been some comics that have tried doing it, but I don't think that's always the case for him in the comics.
Mm-hmm. I've always liked the fact that he can, even against larger beings, he doesn't have to match their size to be as strong. Like when he's going after Surtur in I think it's Surtur in
in
Ragnarok, and he just leaps after him. He probably, if left to his own devices, could have taken a good chunk out of him, despite being 1/18 his size. I was that's pretty great.
Big monster.
I wrote finally.
Oh man.
That was a great part.
Shorts. I know I already said it, but I just love the comic booky transitions so much, and there's so many.
Yeah.
in those
yeah,
scenes right
I
after
wish
he
more
breaks
comic book films would
the
try to do
water
comic
chamber.
booky transitions.
I love seeing
I think
Yeah, I mean
there's such a cool
Hank. I think
concept.
it's funny that
it
the
was definitely
calls him
something that at the time I
angry.
think people weren't
I like
as
these
appreciative of as they could have been, and it was
through
Yeah.
definitely the most ambitious way to have shot that movie or
they
to
do
edit
that.
it at least.
Mhm.
I remember it being
I think
hokey at some points, but for the most part, it was really effective.
Yes. Hulk throwing missiles. Line from one of the
Oh man.
pilots that where they said, "Holy shit, he has my missile." I love that they made sure the CGI for Hulk slamming
Ju-
into the ground actually interacts with the real physical ground.
Mhm.
Either
Yeah, so
Especially for the
basically
time.
there's a
or
scene in
in
the
this
film
one
where
scene,
he
the
lands on this
wind
road
from the
and there
impact
happens to be like
blew
a
a
truck
piece of
uh,
wood
on the road
that
as
was in the
well,
back of a
and the
a near
wind that was
truck
created
off.
from
I love
him
that
hitting into the
even
road
though
pushes
these
a wooden
jets
cart
are
that was on the
attacking the
back of
Hulk,
the
Hulk
truck off,
saw one of them
and I think that's really cool.
crash into
That
the
they
Yeah.
bridge,
put that kind
and
of a
he
detail in
saved the
there.
guy from crashing.
It's the difference between good
That's
CG and
what
bad CG, and if you're going
I
to go to
love.
the expense of
Judy
working at a time when the CG might not have been as advanced as
so
it is
much.
now, but
One thing
the
I
more
really wish
care and thought you put into it to
Yeah.
make
the
your
scene
fake,
where
not really their object interact with the objects that are, is going to make
So
everything feel more real.
apparently,
and
I've
during this
heard
scene the
apparently
water is
that
spraying
the
on
in
him
the
from a
2003
fire
film,
hydrant. I
every
really
single
wish
scene where you
the
had
water cleaned
Hulk
off the
destroying
dirt
stuff in CG,
or off of it
they
because I want a
actually
clean Hulk.
filmed practical
I
of
love the look of
these
Hulk,
all
and
these things
I
getting
I
destroyed
really do not
and
like
they
how
with
the Hulk looked
using
while
like
he had all
air
that dirt
cannons
all
and
over.
stuff like that to
The
Yeah.
scene
break
of
things up and
Betty calming
just to
him
make it look even
down
more real, which
in
is a
San
really cool touch.
Francisco
You don't see
was
that
really
done
beautiful.
much
I
today.
wrote while I was watching.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
no, they
know
would just CG the cars or CG the other stuff
kind of
too. Yeah.
found that very interesting, but he obviously was because he was meeting his son. The fight between Hulk and his father, it was so cool. Even though I've seen the film when I was a kid, I never got to see this fight because our TV was too dark. Also, when I was
What?
It
younger,
was so
I
the
thought they were
scene the
taking a
fight is
sequel,
actually a
but
really dark fight
because
Yeah.
fight light
the
wise,
father
and our
absorbed
TV was
so
already very
much,
dark, so
he
I
became
could barely see it
weakening.
with the kid. I
It's
Mm.
thought
sort of
the film had
a
ended at that
mistro
point when I was a
or
kid when I was
mistro
watching it.
looking
Yeah.
Hulk. I really wish they made that film. That frog, it was so cute on Bruce's head on his hat in the final scene for the
Oh
film.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I love that they made the credits into comic splash bubbles, and
Yeah.
not just a short bit is stylized like most films. The majority of the credits are like this. Honestly, I didn't think this would age well, but I ended up finding a lot to like in it. I think this is actually a pretty good Hulk film. Now, you will notice from listening to that review, I don't really include many things that I find bad in films because a very big thing you will learn about me if you listen to this podcast is I like to promote positivity. I
Hmm.
I'm
Do you
willing to
feel that we have stood to that same
mention
integrity of the ambition of the original episode?
I
I
think we've
won't
allowed
dwell on them,
more
and I will
criticism
try to not
in
include
things,
a
but
lot
we
of them.
still will do a
I will
lot of
always try
promoting
to make the
positivity
majority of
with
it
this
I think so too.
podcast.
positive. And
I think we spend a lot of time like loving something for what it is, even though it might have flaws.
I want to put
Yeah.
that in
Like I
because
love
they
pointing
have
out things,
from
the criticisms about the
and
70s
these
Hulk
are
show,
all
but
taken from
it doesn't make me not like the show. It makes me like it all the more. You know?
Yeah.
I
I got no
found
qualms.
interesting. So much of the microbiology work seen on screen is authentic, contrary of director Ang Lee's wife. And for
Ah.
before I get
Yep.
into some other, I think probably more interesting trivia, I also have a bunch of statistics that for any of our statistic nerds out there, that
Oh man.
to ILM animators, Hulk's stats are as follows. He weighs 3,452 pounds. He is
Yep.
1,565.8 kilograms. He can exert 14 tons of pressure per square inch. His skin is 10 times as strong as Kevlar. Measures 17 feet and 4 inches, which is 5.3 meters.
And now that is that his angriest?
12
I guess.
and 10 inches.
I don't know. This is, but this is
3.3
just apparently what
meters.
apparently.
His
This
feet
was signed
are
apparently
4
in
feet
the
and 3
extras from the film when it
inches,
came out on DVD.
which is
But
1.3 meters. If he
I
wore
don't think
shoes,
the looks
they
of him
would
in the
be
film he looks
US
this big.
size.
No, I don't know.
And I thought I had big shoes at 17, in size 17. His neck measures 6 feet and 9 inches, which is 2 meters. He can move at a top speed of 300 miles per hour, which is 483 kilometers per hour.
I did like the chase scene a lot in that movie,
4 miles.
where they're basically just chasing him out in the desert, and he's just showing how fast he can
Oh
run.
yeah,
And then realizing that hopping works better.
Yeah,
And
that's one of my
back
favorite
to
scenes in the film.
I found more
Was just him
interesting
just
trivia.
hopping
Ang Lee
through
was
the desert and
actually
then different and a bunch of
formed the
different like
Hulks
landscapes. There's
using
just
Mhm.
something so
motion
peaceful about
capture
just watching
technology.
him
In the
and jump through a
comics,
bunch of
Bruce's
areas.
father
Yeah.
was named
And imagine if you're gonna travel through the desert, the best way
named
would be to hop,
David Banner
you
in
know,
this film
quarter
as a
miles at a time
tribute
and stuff.
to the Hulk 1977, which I will be reviewing that. And unlike this review where I saw it many times as a kid, I have never watched any of that Lou Ferrigno Hulk show from 1977,
man.
where the Hulk
Nice.
was known as David Banner.
And I don't think I had either. Honestly, I might have seen clips, and obviously I've seen pictures of what Lou Ferrigno looked like, but I had never had a clear image of what David Banner looked like.
Peter Parker's Spider-Man suit in Spider-Man Homecoming from 2017. Throughout the film, there are clues which foreshadow David Banner's cinematic or climactic descent into villainous insanity. David goes undercover as a janitor in his son's lab, which is a reference to Samuel Stearns, who is a janitor who became the Hulk's arch nemesis, the Leader.
Right.
David absorbs and transforms into a lot of electrical energy in the film's final sequence, a homage to the classic Hulk villain, Lazazax. I'm not sure if I.
Yeah, probably not. I think it's like Zazarax or something.
Sure. I am so excited for Timothy Blake Nelson to come back and play the Leader.
Oh yeah.
I was so bummed out when he wasn't in the finale of She-Hulk, but I get it.
For his explosive temper in the comics. According to Ang Lee, the director of the film's screenplay drew influences from monster tales like King Kong and Frankenstein, fantasies like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Beauty and the Beast, and Faust. And more
Do you know what Faust is?
Greek.
How do you spell it?
Or maybe Faust.
Okay.
It was one of the things he said it was based on.
I've heard of Faust, yes, but I can't remember what the heck it's about.
Is fake. the crew pumped air in it to make it look like it was breathing. They had been using they used a prop up frog after the real one that they were going to use proved to not seem as lively as the fake actually did. Billy Crudup.
I still think that's hilarious how the real frog that they used didn't seem as lively as the fake frog.
Turned down the role of Bruce
Sometimes
Wayne.
real animals just can't cut it.
Considered
Same as I'm sure if he fought some real dogs in that movie, it wouldn't be nearly as cool.
Johnny Depp, Goldblum, David,
if he threw a real poodle at a log, I think people would be upset.
Steve Buscemi,
yeah, or if they just like how everything else in the film was created with practical effects before they did CGI. If they had used an air cannon to actually hit a dog in the balls,
but was convinced
that would really piss people off.
So.
People would be like, "Ong Lee, what are you doing?" They're not allowed to make movies anymore.
Oh God.
Not without adult supervision.
Was a soldier who appeared in the Hulk graphic novel The Dogs of War, which first introduced the concept of Hulk dogs, which appear in this film. Pictures from the same book got flipped by the screen when the opening Marvel logo appears, which you should remember from the beginning of my review. I loved how they made that original logo and intro to be Hulk themed. I thought it was really cool.
I missed that a lot about because it's really hard to tell when you flip through the comics right at the beginning now because it's such a short part of the Marvel Studios logo. But I missed that. They used to flip through the pages of different comics each time they'd come out with a new movie.
How does Bruce keep his pants on when he turns into the super-sized Hulk? We had a lot of talks about it, says his visual effects supervisor, Dennis Murren. We realized we couldn't show his stuff, so we figured when he's in a government immersion cell, those were military stretchable pants. But earlier on, it was more difficult to rationalize, so we figured he just wears stretchy pants. Banner does lose his boxers in one scene, though, but his lycra blend isn't actually the Blaine. It was the dog that ripped his clothes off. Computer animators studied bodybuilders for the look of Hulk's muscles. They created 1,165 different muscles for him. The poodle in the pack of Hulk dogs was made for a good joke, plus it was in James Seamus' script. It was funny. I think it looked more like a Doberman, shrugged Ang Lee, who used the beast to pay homage to a particular young artiste. The elongated ears it had were...
I'm glad you say homage.
Calling, said Ang Lee. Fans
I hear people say homage. Drives me nuts.
Creepy canine, since the dog fight was cut from its original 200 storyboards to a mere 60 for budgetary reasons.
Wow. Can you imagine if they had an extended cut?
Yeah.
Just more dog fight.
That didn't look very
more punching dogs in the balls.
That's one of my favorite things about one of my favorite episodes of She-Hulk was when she was fighting those demons, and it was like, that's what I like seeing Hulk's fight, is like multiple beasts that are as crazy as they are. That'd be fun to see in the future.
Oscars for the critically acclaimed Brokeback Mountain and Life of Pi. Whoever voiced the Hulk in this film remains unknown to this day. I also have some thoughts.
Yeah, it's crazy how no one knows who actually voiced the Hulk in this film.
Cosmic Kren said,
"That's weird."
This was the original Hulk I grew up on as a kid. The one I had toys of. The one I rewatched countless times, faced with tears of joy. I haven't seen it in several years, but you're definitely making me want to see if I can find that DVD again and give it a rewatch. And he had a gift saying nostalgia. So my response, I'd agree with you. I got so much nostalgia watching this. I'd very much encourage you to give it a rewatch. And if you can't find a DVD, it's available
Is that
on
your
the
Discord?
version of Peacock.
Yeah, I believe
Michigan
my
Mom my
Discord.
thoughts is
Oh
Mark
man,
Ruffalo would never.
I thought it was mine for a sec. I was like, wait.
I'm not sure
Close.
exactly
I should
what that
probably
means.
try. I'd see if I can figure out how to get that. Stop.
Ang Lee made almost too literal of a
Could
comic
be
book movie.
a not
Specifically, the way he
play.
chose to display
It's
montages and transitions between
notifications.
scenes. But we respect the effort and vision. Also, Sam Elliott is the greatest Thunderbolt Ross. And my response to that was, I think I can agree somewhat with that. I
liked that too.
The montages and transitions myself, though, and
I think Sam Elliott played a good Thunderbolt Ross in my opinion.
That effort and
I didn't hate William Hurt. I just
Weekly Meat said,
something about Sam's voice.
This Bruce showed up via the multiverse.
I think I disabled all desktop notifications for Discord, so hopefully that stops it from
together. But I think
causing an issue.
More excited to see multiple Hulks share the screen. Christopher Chua said, "Good movie, positive." And my response side, I'd have to agree with you there. Paul Gilliland said, well, they got Hulk's color right, and I can agree with that too. Michelle Samuelson said, honestly, I like the Jennifer Connelly in this better than Liv Tyler in The Incredible.
Same.
But I haven't watched this
better actor
in quite some time either. My response is, I honestly think they both did a good job, but I think you might be right. She may have done a better job. All right, so here is the answer to the trivia question from earlier.
All right, let's see if I got it correct with 6.
14.
Yep, it was 6.
Thank you for watching. If you like this Gamma analysis, please give a 5-star review. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film, so please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more Gamma analyses from me coming, so keep on the lookout. Expect a lot of changes throughout the first few episodes.
There's definitely been a lot of changes over the past year.
Going forward. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.
Nice.
Oh man. Oh, so that
good sign off.
That was that was first episode of the show. Oh my god.
So different.
Wow. There's I'm very obviously a lot more comfortable here than I was then.
I will say, for someone who may not have felt comfortable, you certainly conducted yourself very professionally. Mm-hmm. Like you say, you can tell that you're reading from a script, but it's not in a bad way.
Yeah. I think I like how I do it now better, mainly because I think it feels more natural talking, and not like I'm reading out of a script or or like I'm a newscaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you lampoon yourself and make make me say this as in my announcer voice and everything, and it's more so showing your skills as a newscaster, but without being that guy.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Yeah, I like the authenticity that you've got now.
Yep. All right, let's start this. The second episode. This is the first appearance of Keith on the show, so this is gonna be Very interesting.
We barely knew each other. My goodness.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch,
man.
and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything that's happening with me.
Did we double the length of an episode by adding me?
Picture. I'm so excited.
A lot more than double.
This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies and TV shows.
To give you an idea, so what we last listened to was 24 minutes. This is an hour and a half.
So I want to ask everyone that's listening that if they could please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends, because I really want to get the Gamma Analysis to be big enough that by the time She-Hulk comes out, that maybe I could become pressed and need to get like the first episode early.
Oh man, I still if there's a She-Hulk season 2, I'm still planning on trying to get that press for that.
You gotta keep going for it. Why not?
Yeah.
I reviewed the 2 Incredible Hulk pilot movies. Just so you know, this is not a critical podcast. Every episode of mine, I will always try.
Right, we do both first episodes.
Yes.
So
which these were 2 hour-and-a-half episodes of the Incredible Hulk,
and we still fit it in an hour and a half.
Yeah,
today,
that's impressive.
I'm not gonna force him to follow the same code.
Oh yeah, you used to say that all the time.
Our guest today is Keith, aka Keith Sketches, aka Film Critter, or with a K. Keith is also the one who made my magnificent logo. Welcome, Keith. How you doing, man?
Thank you, John. I'm doing well. That is an awesome fanfare and introduction. Thank you very much.
Oh man!
All right, before I start off the episode,
I don't know how many beers I've had at this point.
I do every
probably a lot having to listen to me.
But I have a trivia question, and you can answer this, Keith, if you want to try. I will be giving the answer to it later in the show. So, after the cancellation of his first series, which comic did the Hulk make regular appearances in?
Fantastic Four.
I wanna say probably Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes or something like that, but I could be wrong. I don't know the Hulk comic history as much as just basically I think most of my knowledge.
Just answer the question, Keith.
Well, I will be giving the answer to that later in the show.
What did I guess? I missed it.
So
Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
So the first of the films is just entitled The Incredible Hulk. So I'm surprised by how soon after the Hulk was first appeared in comics that his first live action appearance in this was just 15 years after he had been introduced. And it was just 4 years after he was introduced that he got a cartoon adaptation, which I'd really like to review that first cartoon on here.
I still haven't reviewed that first cartoon on here.
I was just gonna say, how come? You saving it?
Well, the thing is, it's a very hard cartoon to find.
It was not what you'd expect.
You can't find it very easily. It's not on any streaming services. Honestly, I have not found a place online to actually watch it. Also, I want to find someone to review it with, but I don't know who I'd want to review that particular one with.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mighty and Raging Fury.
What year did it come out?
I thought that was a really nice.
That was like 66, I believe that animated series came out.
Sets the tone.
Oh, okay.
It's apparently it was like it was actually like comic panels that they added tiny bits of animation to make it seem like it was moving.
Like I say,
in that original one,
I was surprised right off the bat. Like I could pretty much get into anything from from older decades and stuff, but I was very surprised at how quickly I was starting to take it seriously with how campy I know a lot of '70s shows can be, but the tone is set very serious, very very dark. But the
man.
like opening sequence they have of like the romance before everything goes
I
bad.
still to this day think that was a weird opening
Is like
sequence
a
for the
totally different
and it's
show.
for
It's like they are
a Hulk
advertising it
show
almost like
open with
a
him with
romance comedy, a
romantic
rom-com, and
scenes.
then everything.
Yeah, the romantic, like that blew me away.
We're gonna completely catch up with a very tortured soul.
Oh yeah, like, I wrote actually my next one was that I was like, never in a million years would have expected a Hulk thing to start with a romantic montage. And if I'm being honest,
Tortured
I
soul.
really
What am I, Walt Whitman?
that.
What are you talking about?
I was just like, oh, I don't really. This is not what I came here to watch.
Yeah, I feel
Oh,
like
man.
I feel like it might have been like a nice at the time, anyways. I mean, we've seen tons of stuff since then that I'm sure changes things, but I feel like at the time it was probably okay. You're tuning into the Hulk. If you've seen it in your TV guide, and you're gonna tune in to this whatever Monday night or Sunday night Hulk, and try something new. Here's a total out of left field kind of misdirect to have a lot of people reaching for the TV
I
guide
don't.
and reaching for the remote
Yeah,
and wondering,
yeah. I
did
don't
I
know.
pick the
That
right
like that
show?
would have
Is
been a very
this the one with
smart
the green
plan to
guy?
try and
Yeah,
subvert
almost like
expectations on
I
TV in the
have
'70s.
you seen The Cabin in the Woods from 2012?
Yes. Love
Yeah,
that movie.
One of my
I just
favorites.
wish
Oh,
that
I
I
love
was able to
Cabin in the
watch that
Woods.
when it first came
So
out
good.
because it just seems like such an interesting idea of being subverted right when you get into a movie. And because I had watched it for the first time last year, I actually had already known before going into it that there was the subversion.
Yeah, that movie had a lot of difficulty, I think, gaining traction with people because a lot of people got spoiled. Like I think it because of word of mouth, it gained success. So a lot of people got spoiled. But a fantastic movie if you can forget what's about to happen.
Yeah. Oh, it really is fantastic.
I remember hearing that
So,
apparently a lot of
my
people walked
next
out of the movie
next
theater when Cabin in the
was
Woods
it
came
shows
out
him
because
waking up,
they had a film
but
that they
with
were
how much
wanting to go see,
emotion
but
you
it
can
very much was
see
not that film.
on that face, I knew immediately
It definitely throws people
that
for a loop.
crash
I love
Yeah.
it. Just conceptual. It's one of my
Oh
favorites.
yeah,
happened.
it's such
And
such
also
a
it was
interesting
such damn
concept,
good
and it's a
acting,
hilarious
'cause
film.
I feel
yeah.
bad for
The
this
two guys in the
character
control
that
room
he just
always make me laugh the most.
Agreed. I was
Oh,
very
yeah.
impressed by the actor playing. Was it Bill Bixby?
yes.
Is
Yeah,
it Bill
I was
Bixby?
I'd never
Come
seen
on,
him
Key.
before, and I knew that the guy playing
Now you have like a relationship with him.
Bruce Banner. I knew that he was someone I'd never seen in anything else before, so I was
Still
very
haven't.
up for the job.
Yeah. I imagine
Oh,
the
man.
reason why you probably haven't seen him in much is because sadly, near the beginning of
Oh.
the '90s, he passed away.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. He must be old.
Yeah, I think he was like maybe in his 50s or something.
Wow. Okay.
Uh,
Well, definitely
they
made
were-
famous by this. For sure.
Yeah, they were making a third, I think, or fourth TV Hulk movie that they were still in the writing phase or something, and when he passed away, so they weren't able to finish it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Gone too soon.
next note.
Well, on the same note of incredible acting, my favorite thing, and maybe this is jumping too far ahead. My favorite thing about this first episode is by far Elena Marx's character.
Starring your thirst for Elena Marks.
and a love story was born.
Way separate.
Another Gone Too Soon. My goodness.
Sitcom called Dharma and Greg.
Oh my god.
Greg's mother in this, like, it's kind of like what if a Wall Street banker type guy was fell in love with and married like the daughter of a couple of hippies, and the whole joke of being like two worlds colliding. And the Wall Street banker's mother is played by Susan Sullivan, who played this Dr. Elena Marks, and she is so charismatic, like with the kid at the beginning, and
Oh
like
man,
just the patience.
Did you expect to have this much trivia brought along with me as a guest?
The episode, anyways.
I didn't know what
not
to
knowing anything
expect,
about the
honestly.
series, you know,
It's like, I've seen this actor in this. I've seen this actor in this.
that was shocking.
Yeah, I
A lot of
love
unsung heroes in
I
classic
really
television.
wish they didn't have her pass away because I wanted her to be like the female lead of the show.
That would have been awesome.
I still do.
Like a Betty Ross type character. She was a scientist with him, helped him. Like, isn't that? I don't know if that's accurate to the comics or not, but like I know a lot of other iterations show Betty Ross being right alongside him for the experiments and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a character from the comics, but I don't mind it not because
Is that what Betty Ross is like in the comics? Is she a scientist?
Some of the adaptations, some of the versions she is, but I don't know if she originally was. Originally she was not. She was not a scientist because back in the 60s, they were very sexist back then.
They're like women in their science.
They were
keep them in the kitchen.
And General Ross was.
I was thinking that too. I was like, she's.
I think if I remember right, I in the original comic called her a milksop.
Taking the charge.
A what?
I have no idea. I've never heard that insult anywhere else.
Take that, Betty.
But it's weird. He's calling his daughter names.
It is. It's rude.
She is a damsel in distress near toward the end, but it's really not the same as the type of female characters that you get out of older material.
Mm-hmm. One thing I did wrote that I really did not like was that one of her co-workers when she was first introduced was objectifying her. And that is sadly something that probably as I review this show I will probably find a lot of because it was from the 70s.
Things hadn't quite progressed enough to write that stuff out. But at the same time, like I remember that scene where she's walking past the guy at the desk. She's carrying all the books or whatever, and like he starts hitting on her, and she just kind of fires back with some smart ass remarks. And it was likable and strong lead all the same. It was cool.
Immediately charismatic.
That was the exact thing I was talking about. One of her coworkers objectifying her. So the one note that I had that got skipped over was I noticed David works at.
I skip over your notes a lot.
And 2008.
It's like why even try to say them in order? My goodness.
Culver University. I thought that was a nice parallel.
Yeah, nice. I don't know if that's even from the comics, but like to pay off the show. Like I even felt like I know this is probably skipping ahead again. But even like the machine to give himself the gamma injections or the gamma radiation exposure looked like they had done. I think it was the Edward Norton movie.
The Edward Norton definitely tried to do a recreation of that.
Yeah.
It's like picking the same.
And then they did a recreation again in She-Hulk in the finale.
Yeah. I liked that a lot. That was was awesome.
That was so cool.
You could tell a lot of stuff took inspiration from the show.
Yeah, I think the only difference, and I remember this is I don't know because I haven't seen it in a while, but I think he had like something in his mouth out during the experiment in the Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, like a mouth guard or something.
Yeah.
Did he have it in the? I remember him having a thing in his mouth during the scene where the leader guy, Dr. Stern, injects him with what's supposed to be the cure. At least I think he would have something.
I don't remember.
Like a mouth guard, keep him from biting his tongue off or something.
Can you imagine if
smashing his teeth together?
Wolverine's experiments, he just has as under the water a cigar in his mouth. Amazing.
They'd be if a super lab like that can make the Wolverine, they can make a waterproof cigar. Maybe that's how they got the funding for Weapon X.
Hey, who's this co-host you got, man? He's funny.
No,
Got jokes.
I like seeing David coming in and offering the kid half of his donut. That just shows how nice of a guy he is.
Yeah. So they know that
man.
coming in for experiments and stuff like that, or coming in for even just doctor's appointments.
Long before COVID, you don't share donuts these days, that's for sure.
Very beginning of the show.
Sterile environments, damn it.
That's the stereotypical lollipop that at this point I don't think does much calming down when since you just expect that at a
Yeah. If I had to choose between a doctor that handed out lollipops and a doctor that handed out donuts, I know I'd be going to the donut doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, donuts definitely sound better
doctor-
than a lollipop.
Well, most doctors would be like,
Then they'd be known as the donut doctor forever. Hey, Dr. Donuts. What's up?
what is your next note?
Well, I felt like the first transformation, though I know it takes a while to get to. Maybe that's jumping again way too far. I apologize.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine with jumping back and forth. It's just, like I have some more notes earlier on, but we can just jump back to mine, jump forward to yours, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
I'll do whatever you want.
You set me at ease.
Just seeing how many
Good
times
good host.
gets angry at people or gets angry in situations. It's funny to think of like how supercharged the Hulk seems in more recent stuff, where it's like if Mark Ruffalo was screaming or angry at a flat tire, he would have probably changed a lot quicker than this Hulk. And it was like they were not quite there where they made the stakes so high that him just losing 5 seconds was going to do it. It had to be a lot more. It almost seemed as though he changed
Big build up.
more so from trauma as opposed to just anger, or like even just being in need. Like it's like the Hulk came out when he knew he was needed. It was interesting.
Yeah. That really is
Very interesting. I pointed some interesting notes.
So yeah,
I gotta get back to pointing out interesting things, John.
I
don't even know what the hell I make notes about now.
I thought it was really interesting how and the connection between him turning the Hulk and this psychological strength that you get when you need it. Particularly a lot of times happens in mothers.
Yeah, the adrenaline rush of like magnificent feats of strength that come out of nowhere.
I really enjoyed that part of the pilot episode of going into like them already working on like a case study about that. Before having and looking for the coming upon accidentally upon the whole Hulk transformation thing with the type of studies that they were pursuing at the time.
How I've always known
it was
a
cool transition.
As he works on gamma radiation, and that's how he turned into the Hulk. And I really did think it was interesting how they added this extra layer to it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying that.
Next one I think it's funny how the machine is somehow modified to magnify up to a million times. You can do
oh
that.
Man!
Okay.
A million times.
1 million magnification.
I like the idea that this machine that was dealing with high levels of radiation it almost felt like the fact that it took place in the 70s and the fact that this machine looked the way it did. It's like it's more likely to have an accident than some machines that would do the same thing today, because it just felt so rattly.
Like, clunky. Like an old roller coaster. You don't feel safe riding up that hill.
Oh, I don't think you can say it was an accidental overdose of gamma rays if you turn up the dial to 300,000.
Whoops.
Later, like it was revealed that it was like a couple million or so. Like, I thought 300,000 was a lot.
It's like, I'm sorry, you tampered with a machine that deals with radiation, and you made it deal out more, and you didn't put that in the memo binder or something. Like, just leave a message or something. Put a post-it note on it saying something like that.
I thought I thought was kind of cool looking was how it zoomed into his cells earlier on in it.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
that looked dope.
That level of I guess at that point I was wondering, well, how else are they gonna show that in the 70s? That was really cool.
Yeah, it looked real.
It's funny when stuff from that long ago can
Really
surprise you.
janky
And like look better than you ever expected.
Yeah, people before CG, they had to find out practical ways of doing things, and even if it took a really long time, not that but yeah, that was pretty cool.
I thought it was really funny how he kept thinking he could easily pick up the stretcher.
The second he lifted that stretcher, I'm like, he's gonna try again and see no difference.
Yep.
So and now I've actually gotten with my
Yeah, this is making me want to go back and watch that pilot episode again.
This
seriously.
is right around where you said of
Should do that after we finish the series.
Information. I was like, Hulk just has to start trying to destroy this nice muscle car after his first transformation.
Yeah, I wondered like the logistics of who donates these cars to get smashed and destroyed like that. But at the same time, did it remind you of the moment in Endgame where he says, "I think it's gratuitous, but okay," and he starts like just hammering on the top of that taxi?
It did remind me, but that is a nice comparison. Oh man, I was surprised though at how little strength he has compared to his later on counterparts.
Very true. Let's start somewhere.
Do you want to skip ahead to the middle?
I was.
Or where are we now anyway? This is 21 minutes in.
Yeah.
Moments.
Do you want to skip ahead a bit?
They did
Sure.
a lot of slow mo.
All right. Let's go like 40 minutes in and see how.
Yeah,
It is.
So now I'm trying to remember where the pilot episode goes.
All my notes for the reporter in the second episode, I just I called him the
William Dafoe reporter. Yeah.
Mr. Dafoe.
I forgot we talked about him so much. Yeah.
I knew that it was the sign that something was going to happen. Because I saw the bottle fall, but I really did not expect the building to explode.
I had this weird inkling that it was going to when she was left inside for that long. And I was just like, this isn't what's gonna happen to her, is it? And then when it started, I was like, no. And then when he saved her, I was still holding on to hope that no, they couldn't.
Of course.
Kill off.
Yeah, you couldn't possibly kill the love interest off in the first episode of the show.
Yeah, how dare they make us all fall in love with her, and then like everybody obviously fell in love with her, not just me.
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like I don't understand introducing a character in the pilot episode of the show, making you love the character and then killing her immediately.
Yeah, I can only imagine it being like maybe she
heightened stakes
on another series, or maybe she got a different gig or something. But they were like, we want her to power, or maybe they lost her to some contract, and they had maybe the ending was decided after a long shoot because it takes a hell of a lot longer to shoot a movie than it does an episode or something. So
yeah, maybe. But it's like the only other instance I've seen of something happening like that is have you ever seen in the DC show Constantine?
No, I heard about it and I saw the guy they had playing him, but I'd never seen the episodes.
So like they introduced in the first episode of the show this female lead and then I don't remember whether they killed her off or not in the first episode, but she never came back after that first episode. and like she was a great character in the episode, and they brought in a different female lead after that for the rest of the show. It was really weird.
It seems always to like service the make the lead character more tortured,
or the TV
going
Yeah.
forward.
writers want to have a clear distinction of high stakes by killing off a character in the pilot episode, so you don't see it coming, and you're like, oh well, anyone could go at
It's
any
a-
time in the rest of
A
this.
clear
series.
distinction
In
of high
series
stakes, even though
Lost, I don't know if you've ever seen
the
Lost.
only other time in the show so far that we've watched that there's actually been another death was a whole season later.
Yeah, seriously.
And then he just dies, and you don't see it coming. So that's what the writers wanted, but the studio got.
Did I just talk about Lost?
Why we really love this show, but we can't.
I did.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was just gonna bring it up, and then past Keith brought it up first. So never mind.
I think honestly they made a good decision, because I feel like it would be hard to get into a show if the main character you've been following passed away, and then the show has just a new main character for the rest of the show. It would just be so weird feeling.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
It's a
Very
weird
true.
Sounds like something that happened at the end of the first season of Game of Thrones.
I was impressed with how many they balance characters so well in that show that you end up by season 8 rooting for an entirely different cast of people than you did in the first season.
I didn't really get the context of that. I wrote, why is there a gravestone with David's name on it since he didn't die? Since they didn't explain it in the episode that he chose to do that so he could go on the run or something.
They didn't really go into it, did they?
Yeah, they only reveal it in the previously.
You just assumed dead
from the second episode.
Right.
Though I really don't like that they changed his name in the show. I like that his grave at least references his comic book name by having it be his middle name.
Yeah. What was the? You told me once before. What was the reason why they changed the name?
The reason why?
Because apparently in the 70s,
shameful.
CBS they believe the name Bruce was, and I quote, too gay.
I remember rumors, not rumors, but when I was I grew up in the 90s, and even then I remember jokes being made by people that were probably in their 40s or 50s,
boomers,
about Bruce being gay, and I was just sitting there going, like, being a huge fan of Batman at the time. I was like,
what? Who you calling gay?
There's just like that. I could see it now, knowing how TV executives work and everything. I absolutely could see why.
It was like any name that could end with a person with a lisp saying it, like Bruce or like Lance.
And honestly, it pisses me off. There's still people
I don't know how they came up with it.
To this day who have positions of power who will say things like that and be like and either change the course of a show or destroy or like cancel a show before it even starts by saying that. I saw a few months ago. The creator of a show that was going to come out on ABC for a Marvel show called New Warriors, which was going to feature Squirrel Girl, and like this was canceled a couple of years ago. Those never officially announced. The creator just came out this year and was like, yeah, so the reason why this never came out is one of the a producer who he didn't name, and he said and they said that the show was, and I quote, too gay.
Oh my
god. Such a fucked up thing to do.
It is. I'm shocked to hear how recently was this?
So he came out and said it about this this year, but the show this all happened and the show got canceled after they had filmed a full pilot episode
Wow.
This happened in like 2017, 2018, something like that.
Was it supposed to be on Fox or something? Like
It was going to be on ABC. it was going to be a spinoff from Agents of Shield.
Wow. Well, I knew the New
Huh.
Warriors. New Warriors, wasn't it?
Yes, New Warriors.
That was the comic. That was one of the comics I collected as a kid. I really enjoyed the few that I had, and
I still think I have those comics. I got like 7 or 8 of them. New
did I ever
Warriors.
show you? Did I ever
remember
show
them
you
always
what how
playing
Squirrel Girl was
for
gonna look in the show?
casting characters that were.
I don't remember. I do remember hearing who was cast. I think she's in a show.
Again,
Oh yes.
is
Yep.
And
Disney owned.
there's
She was
also
a commercial actor for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's a look of her to
So
the
it's like
side.
progress takes
I
way too long, but
Yeah.
like this was going to be very
And I
comic
think
accurate to how
it's
she actually
partially
looks.
as well, though.
Like probably one of the
because
most
the
comic
divide
accurate
between,
looks of a character, I think,
Marvel TV and
that Marvel's
Studios.
ever done.
And yet
So
too gay.
Kevin Feige wasn't allowed to put output on these
Crazy.
things. And like also like we talked about how Disney not putting gay characters in the movies. He's Kevin Feige for a long time, even though he had a very big presence in it up until like 2018, 2019, and he still was not the boss. He was still not technically the boss, and that was part of the reason why up until that point there was not a Black Panther film or Captain Marvel because the person who was the boss, they were not willing to allow for black characters to lead or female characters to lead. Wow. And it really is such a fucked up thing. There's that there are people in positions of power who act like that.
Still, like that's that just goes to show how lucky we are that Kevin Feige got the position.
This is
now look at
very relevant and today with what's happened with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that. What's his name?
David Zaslav.
Zaslav, yeah. Guy's an idiot.
He was like, no, this was not a big thing for us doing this.
I'm hopeful that with
the start
James Gunn
and this is how
and The Rock Rock now be leading DC films, and maybe they might be able to hold him in shape so that we are able to get some of those things again.
Is The Rock taking a role behind the camera?
I think he's gonna be involved somewhat behind the scenes as well. I don't know exactly how much, but it definitely everything I've read sounds like he's gonna be involved behind the scenes.
One of my last notes for the first episode.
I'm very interested in if that means that we could see The Rock in a James Gunn production, because I would be very interested in James Gunn's humor with The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock's a talented comedic. His comedic timing is impressive. That would be very cool.
A sort of downer ending.
Like James Gunn on. Honestly, I think he brings one of his best capabilities. I think is actually like bringing great acting out of professional wrestlers. As you had Dave Bautista in Marvel, and then you had John Cena with Peacemaker here. So now him working with The Rock would be amazing.
That would be awesome. Yeah, he does seem to have a knack for that, doesn't
he? And also, I really like how the Hulk 2003 does go into how he had an abusive father.
True. Yeah, that's something that you don't see the representation enough of. It's like
definitely not.
There's a lot of representation that needs to happen in movies. It's interesting to see.
Although I was shocked to see representation of an abusive mother in Moon Knight. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was raw.
Oh yeah.
Dark for a Disney show too, or for a Marvel anything.
Spoilers. I liked it a lot more than the second episode.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, because the second episode is like the Orange Grove murder mystery, isn't it? Yeah.
Depending on what you on where you look it up,
where they're like poisoning the daughter.
In the family, and then the other title, which
And
I
you have a
think this is the
weirdo
title
who's
that it was
very
given when it
interested
first aired,
in the
aired,
little
and that was
girl.
the return of the Incredible
Gross.
Hulk.
He's like, I'm gonna court that young lady,
So my
and I'm gonna
God.
own the oranges.
was I really liked the narration that for that previously on segment.
Yeah, they didn't do that in the pilot, did they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who did it, but I just really liked the sound of it.
Oh, it was kind of a movie trailer kind of voice, right? Of the
Yeah,
voice
yeah.
of the signs. Yeah, okay, I remember that narration. That was kind of a
David Banner.
I feel like
Position.
oh
man.
It's
Trying to tap into the hidden
Yeah,
and
no, I love
something in my mind.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it.
There's someone who actually does things like that that I follow on Twitter. Have you ever heard of Epic Voice Guy?
I think so.
Yes, I've heard of Epic Voice Guy. I have now, at least.
Yes, he
What
does.
is
He does some stuff for Screen Junkies every once in a while. He's the one who does the voice for the Honest trailers.
Okay, yeah.
He's become really good friends like with Ryan Reynolds. Basically mainly because he has a perfect Ryan Reynolds voice as well. Yeah. Yeah, apparently he helped with like some ADR on Free Guy. That's such a cool thing. And also like the guy like you've heard how I have in the past few months I've been on a weight loss journey so he also in the past 6 months he's been on a weight loss journey too, and like he looks incredible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name again? Is it a movie?
The
Epic Voice Guy.
Epic Voice Guy, and I think his real name is John Bailey.
Oh wow. Good for him.
Yeah, he's such a cool guy. I've talked to him a little bit on Twitter, where he's congratulated me a little bit on my weight loss journey as well. So it's just kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I found the script.
My next was
Dr. David Banner, physician scientist, searching for a way to tap into the hidden strengths that all humans have.
Yeah. I feel like back then,
Such a great narration.
Then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry. I won't go.
Oh man.
No, I don't think anyone was taking him seriously throughout the episode. Anyway,
You want to skip ahead a little bit again?
All right.
Why isn't he telling us his real name?
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
An hour and 10 minutes into this episode. Oh shoot! Never mind. I accidentally pressed the wrong button as I play.
What is this program?
Oh, this is Audacity.
Okay. Okay.
This is the program that Brandon actually suggested to me for editing.
Nice.
Great. You know what it reminded me of too is, have you ever seen the 1930s Frankenstein with like Boris Karloff?
Yeah.
I haven't watched.
I think this is where we were talking about the scene where Hulk actually breaks the guy's gun on in the forest.
Right. And like, doesn't he like scare a bear or something? Or is that a different scene?
Oh, actually,
okay.
I think that might be a
Like the
different
Frankenstein
episode.
movie with
Actually,
Boris
Oh,
Karloff.
okay.
I'm not sure.
But he comes across the guy with his daughter, and the daughter's drowning
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and he saves
He,
the
like,
daughter,
holds out the
and
branch.
then the guy
that
tries
runs
pointing a
over top. It
shotgun
reminded
at
me a
him,
lot
and he
of
just
that,
grabs
like,
the
he comes
shotgun
across
and
a
bends
blind
it.
man, he comes across a little girl. Like there's all these interactions with very innocent, very helpless people who he doesn't harm. And,
Oh, man.
it really makes it for like a morally gray, like, oh, why is the mob chasing him? Type of this angry mob chasing him kind of thing. It reminded me a lot.
Yeah, an angry mob, not the Italian mob.
Watch that.
That'd be a very different Frankenstein.
And maybe at some point, after
It's called Frankenstein.
all of the Hulk content that I can review, maybe at some point I could review like some Frankenstein stuff on here.
Do it.
Work in
Oh,
the
yeah.
theme.
Yeah. Yes, I mean he does smash things.
You should watch back to back. You watch the Boris Karloff Frankenstein, and then you watch Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from the '90s, where Robert De Niro plays
I bet
the
Michael
monster.
is probably thinking
Robert De
Frankenstein.
Niro as the monster
Yeah,
is an
yeah.
interesting
Alcohol-
concept.
Yeah, because they
I don't know
do
how I
like
feel about that.
it's weird because they do like a more novel, accurate version because Frankenstein the monster is highly intelligent. And they don't feature that at all in the Boris Karloff original. They just wanted to make a monster
I
flick.
wondered if that would play into a factor at the end.
But it's a lot more of like a psychological tragedy,
or the booze
like the book that Mary Shelley wrote. So it's a lot different.
The episode, you see that he's like
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot different from the Frankenstein that is
Oh,
classic.
did you looking it up? Yeah.
Yep.
De Niro's Frankenstein. I gotta look at that. As Frankenstein's monster. I gotta specify.
Hey, the William Dafoe looking reporter's back.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like that, he didn't really fit into this episode at all.
Jack McGee rarely fits in well to an episode. They just kind of throw him in. I loved that episode where Hulk saves him in the like junkyard or construction site or whatever. That was one of my favorites for Jack at McGee, anyways.
I liked seeing David sneak around the hospital. I thought that was just really kind of fun.
Yeah, you get a lot of David time in these, and it's understandably so. You know,
I feel like some fun Frankenstein films to do
Hulk barricading a door.
One would be Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And then also I've never seen any of this comedic group before, but I've heard they were supposed to be very funny back in the day. Back in that decade when they were actually in
I bet he's starting to find that
doing
very
stuff.
offensive.
But Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yes, they were very funny. They were back in the days of the Stooges and the Marx Brothers, and it was funny to see like it's kind of like getting like the Halloween specials, right? Like Abbott and Costello would have been so popular at the time they had to have Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy or meet Frankenstein. It was very very campy and silly, but an awesome crossover that you don't expect.
To not have to interact with people.
Yeah.
there you go. Thanks for honest. That's good.
Yeah, like interacting.
I'm looking up like Frankenstein films on IMDb. Apparently, in one country,
It's pretty cynical, but
Death Race 2000 is called Frankenstein's Toad Resin.
they're okay.
No, I like in Eternals.
What that means, I do not know.
Yeah, I can't say.
I
know the movie
like,
Death Race.
Yeah, I know that I know. I don't think I've actually seen the film, but I know the concept of the film. I don't think it has anything to do with Frankenstein.
He's a recurring character in the movie. I guess he's one of the racers in both the original and the remake of Death Race. Because I guess it was a '70s movie as well.
I'm actually surprised how little Frankenstein films there are on IMDb. There's not a lot of them.
But I wondered what happened to the Michael character that he was so afraid to.
Yeah, they don't deal with or remake Frankenstein nearly as much as they do Dracula. Vampires are everywhere, whereas like sewn together monsters aren't really as popular. It's because vampires are sexy. So get that going for them. Nothing sexy about a guy sewn together with body parts. Nobody wants that. Nobody's writing fanfic about that.
There's another line from Michael. Oh boy, I sure do wish I was you. There's some people I'd like to be mad at. Which, when I heard that line, I burst out laughing.
Some people I'd like to be mad at.
Some people I'd like to be mad at. I like that line.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I think this.
Oh man.
was he was talking to Banner, where Banner was like, "I can't choose when I become the Hulk or something." And my next note was I love seeing Hulk fight and throw the bear. And
Oh yes, this is the episode with the bear.
afterwards,
Yes.
Hulk just starts splashing water around.
No bears were hurt in the making of this Hulk.
I love
you know
that.
What? I don't take enough time for me.
Oh
Yeah.
So this little swim while I have it.
We're funny.
Come along in a minute.
Oh man, I think you're more funny than I am.
Oh man,
Hulk,
that's
Julie.
you're making me laugh a lot in this episode.
Follow Michael. Oh, and I'm like, and I wrote Hulk has good reason not to want to trust and follow Michael, since Michael had him drink alcohol, which was so disgusting he had to spit it out, which almost burned him.
Would say stay away from Michael after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Michael
feel like if I was Hulk, I would not trust this Michael
it's
guy
been a
either.
while, but yeah.
I think scotch he gives him, and he calls it lemonade, and he takes a sip, he drinks the whole thing, and then he just keels over and goes, or someone mentions lemonade to him the next day, and he like throws up in their hands.
Oh, Edward Scissorhands is so good.
Like,
I love Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
I love where he's like,
Yeah.
it's just a figure of speech. The dad says, "Soup's on," and he says, "I thought there were shish kebabs." He's got his mouth full. He's like, "What? I thought there were shish kebabs." He's like, "It's just a figure of speech. You gotta learn not to take things so literally, Ed."
Like,
when I was younger,
yeah, right.
I remember being told that there was actually like a sequel to Edward Scissorhands, and that but that I wasn't allowed to watch it though because it was a horror movie.
Michael's guilt.
And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, what the hell were they talking about? Because I do not think there was anything like that that's in existence, and I cannot find anything online about something like that being made.
Yeah,
I wish something like that were made because that sounds really interesting in Edward Scissorhands' horror sequel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be
but
terrifying.
man,
It seems like to me. It sounds like something that would exist, but would have gone straight to VHS.
Yeah,
and would not have starred Johnny Depp. It's like
Probably.
Teen Wolf 2 with Jason Bateman.
The only thing I can ever I can think of that possibly they were thinking of, even though I don't know if they I don't know if someone would actually call this just a horror film, but maybe they were thinking of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber.
Yes. Yeah, that would make sense.
I don't know if you would consider that a horror movie so much as a musical.
No, but like the fact that he is also a barber in that movie.
Yeah.
And not only the fact that he just looks like Tim Burton.
Really interesting to see
Yeah,
how
I'm
Tim
pretty
Burton
sure they
has a
are
thing.
technically both
Such
Tim Burton
different,
films.
I think so
believe.
too. I mean, I feel like Tim Burton.
I haven't
did
actually
produce at
seen
least-
Sweeney Todd. I kind of want to watch that at some point.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's not a typical musical.
I haven't.
It definitely
I
carries
don't
a
know
lot
if I've
to-
ever heard Johnny Depp sing before.
He's not bad, but it's like
Very
the type
interesting.
of music. It's like a type of musical where the best singers. You don't have to be a great singer to be in it. It's kind of like
some episodes where we end
kind of like Les Mis. Like it's more about the production value and the getting the story right, and then the singing is like, oh, we found the actors for the part that would perform the best in that role, but we're not looking for like the amazing singers. We're looking for people who can play the part better. Not that he's a bad singer. None of them are terrible. It's just it's got like Alan Rickman sings in it, and he's not super great at it either.
I actually kind of feel like I would have actually guessed Alan Rickman and actually might have could have been a good singer. He just seems like the kind of guy who might could have been a good singer.
He had like a very cool baritone moment where him and Johnny Depp have a duet, and he does like the bass part.
Paying a lot of homage and probably looking at it for like blueprints of okay, these are the beats. We need him to turn into the Hulk this many times. He needs to go through this kind of procedure. Yeah, so it was
Oh
just
man,
more
I think
familiar
that
as
we're
well.
talking about
I
here the
appreciate
scene
seeing
where
the second episode. I was gonna
I
call it
seem to
the second
remember
episode
Yeah.
for
in the second
Hulk
episode,
episode.
wasn't there like a helicopter
Which,
in the
so
near the
you're
end of
probably
it?
wondering why I chose to do
Oh yeah,
both of the
I don't
episodes.
remember why.
One, it was one.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
just wanted to have the podcast be longer, but also before I watched it, I read that though the rest of the show episodes don't really connect much to each other, or
Mm.
these first two episodes they very much connect to each other, and how one ends and the other begins. And I thought, and I was guessing that it was gonna be like a cliffhanger thing, so that mainly why I
It wasn't.
chose to do
It
like
wasn't
this.
exactly what I was expecting.
Which it did. end
No,
up
it wasn't. It felt more like the second
but,
episode was like a long version of your typical episode,
and
Yeah.
where he comes into someone's life, he learns about their mystery going on, then helps them and saves them, and then runs off. And that's like the whole formula for the show. Whereas the first episode felt like a movie of its own design.
So, firstly, I have the
Certainly an
quote,
origin story too.
from Screen Rant, which is where I found the information about the quote unquote too gay thing. So the quote was so. While it was based on Marvel Comics, the Incredible Hulk TV show was developed for TV by a man named Kenneth Johnson. Johnson wasn't a fan of comics and felt a heavy focus on making the show like the comic might turn off audiences of the time. He made the decision to not have the Hulk speak, meaning that lines like Hulk smash never made it into the scripts, which that it kind of annoys me because like I want Hulk to be able to say his iconic line.
Yeah.
Creators have struggled with making things like the source material for so long.
Bruce Banner became David Banner. But for the most part, for his part, Johnson has said that he did it to further separate the show from the comics due to Marvel characters having alliterative names, which alliterative names, and it's basically Bruce Banner, Peter Parker, blah blah blah. He also later said that he named the character David after his own son. Comic book fans are liable to think that that reasonable is laughable on its face, especially considering what a media juggernaut Marvel movies and TV shows have since become, where things get really grown worthy, though, with an alternative explanation for the name change offered by both Stan Lee, the creator of Hulk, and Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk in the show, where they claim that CBS executives demanded the name Bruce not be used because it was, and I quote, too gay, and feared that the audience would believe a Bruce Banner was a homosexual character. And so there are differing reports, but I would more likely believe what was said by Lee and Luke.
Of course, somebody's trying to save face.
That because I don't see them having reason to lie versus like Kenneth Johnson.
Yeah.
I feel like he may not have wanted to bring up something like that.
I think too, like one of the reasons why you see more like a push towards comic book accuracy now too is like back then comic book nerds and that like side of the in general just the type of people who would have appreciated something like that weren't thought of as cool. Like nowadays, comic book nerds are everywhere and they're celebrated and they meet together in millions. We're the mainstream. So much so that there's cringy sitcoms like Big Bang Theory that are getting it all wrong. but at the same time, it's like now there's shows about us. Yeah, and it's like back then it was like those we were the minority, we were the nerds, we were the underlings.
Now, one thing I actually found out how recently that's another
scene in
change from the comics
1931,
that did not end
where
up
the
happening, but
monster season
Kenneth Johnson
is
wanted to
rode
happen,
by a lake
but
after
Stan Lee actually put his
escaping the
foot down,
castle.
saying no, he won't let
The
it
approach of
happen.
the Hulk is shot
So
nearly the
Kenneth
same
Johnson
way as
wanted
the monsters
the
was
Hulk
in
to be
Frankenstein.
red because
The
that
difference is that
was the color
in the
thought of
Incredible
for
Hulk,
anger.
the girl's
Anger,
frightened by the
and
Hulk,
Stanley
and
put
in
his foot down,
Frankenstein
saying,
she happily
"No, the
interacts
Hulk
with
is
the Hulk.
green. We're keeping
Well,
him
not
green."
with the Hulk,
Yeah,
with the
I'm
good.
glad that Stanley did
the
that.
casting department.
True believers. I can't do a Stanley, man. I really can't. But yeah, that would be really weird. Like, obviously, red is associated with anger, but that's never been.
Let's see.
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. That would be like two on the nose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we have a red Hulk later on, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
like that's a better later character to be developed instead of starting out with a red Hulk.
Yeah, I've seen some. I haven't watched them, but I've seen like on YouTube some videos say, "Is this character out of the '70s TV show the first Red Hulk?" I'm like, no, it's not. Red Hulk was not created by Marvel Comics till 2008. It was not. There was no chance that that Red Hulk was going to appear in the '70s TV show.
For a second there, I thought you were saying he did. I was like, wait a minute.
In real life,
I know I've seen clips
So
of
there's
Thor from
there
the
is
70s.
in one of the later seasons. Apparently, there is another Hulk that appears that appears in. So people
it's more of a curse
on
than it
YouTube
is
and on
that
Facebook
it is
try
good
to
thing.
like,
Oh.
oh, we
The
think
only
that
time I
is
ever
the
do talk
original
about
Red
it is
Hulk, even though he's not red at all. He's like,
only times I ever do
why?
talk
Why
about
do
it,
you think this is the original Red Hulk?
makes it mention, like, is it a good thing?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you go continue thinking that. That's fine.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
Yeah. Oh man.
You're wrong.
An
And
homage
just
to
gotta
the
face that, but
Red
whatever.
Hulk television series can be found in the Edward Norton movie version, while Bruce sits in his tiny room in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Now, as we're getting close to the end of our reacting to this,
Yeah.
I want you to start thinking about what you want me to say in an announcer voice.
Oh yes, of course.
1972. These are things I found off of IMDb. These are definitely not things I would have found myself. David and Elena decide to go to the Southwest lab for isolation and to try and find out more about David's newfound condition. This is an homage to the Southwest Missile Base from the early Age of Hulk comics, which employed Bruce Banner as an atomic scientist and was presided over by General Thunderbolt Ross and Major Glenn Talbot.
Which is way more like Savannah.
Yeah. The second episode did not have many bits of trivia on IMDb that especially not many that I found very interesting. The two that I did get was this episode was edited into two parts for when it was syndicated. And this second feature length edition is a direct continuation of the pilot film, which this won't occur again during the regular show. And I got just a
So
couple
it sort of
more
occurs
pieces of
again
trivia
with
that I
the
found from the Hulk
and
Wiki,
with how it was a
which,
2-hour premiere for
first
the
episode
second
of
season.
The movie was also theatrically released in Australia, Finland, Germany, and the Philippines. So it seems mainly wasn't released theatrically here in America.
I feel like it'd be really interesting watching the '70s Hulk in a movie theater.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would love to do that at some point. Oh man.
Yeah.
I still
Kenneth
hope
Johnson, the
that in
director,
Secret
made a
Wars that
voice
possibly
cameo
possibly
apparently
they
as
could get Lou
Scotty
Ferrigno
over the
to make an
intercom in the
appearance.
Southwest Lab.
That
When
would
the
be
banner is
that'd be
notified of the
wicked.
arrival
What
of
would
the
you
station
want him to
worker
play?
and he.
Well, I
So,
know as
and
well
the second
as
episode, we
Hulk since
have
it's Secret Wars, or so
apparently
it would
the
be
bear knocked
a
the wig
multiversal
off
cameo.
Lou Ferrigno's
Oh
head,
yeah, fair enough.
licked off of his his makeup and caused a
At
number
the very
of
least, they could
man.
put him in a
production
CG suit.
difficulties.
Yeah. Though I think actually he would prefer to
Man.
actually wear the green makeup himself and not do
And,
CG
the only other thing,
because he doesn't like
the other
CGI.
trivia I have,
Does he?
you've
Oh.
already brought
Yeah,
up is how
he is actually in
William
recent
Daniels,
years
a guest in
made
this
some
episode,
like
was also
complained about how Marvel uses
voice of
CGI
Kit
for
in
Hulk.
the Knight Rider
Because they don't have to
show.
work at it like he did every day.
I guess.
1,000 push-ups or whatever he had to do.
Oh yeah, it's so surprising. Isaac, and to see him so young.
Yeah, I loved his flirting. His well, not really flirting, but she was coming on to him, and he was like, you're so sweet when you need to be," or whatever.
Mr. Feeney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
like,
Feeney.
I know you're trying to manipulate me.
I love Mr. Feeney.
Yep. Yeah, he was a real one.
So I
Growing up with him and Wilson from Home Improvement are two of my favorite.
Oh,
these
man.
these episodes
Wilson.
were. I didn't get anyone to.
Did they ever actually on
respond to my
Home
post
Improvement
asking for
show
thoughts about
Wilson's face?
the
I
episode?
seem to remember there was one episode where they where they showed him in a scene where he wasn't behind the fence, but they put a black bar in front of his face.
There was like, I mean, they did that joke a lot where the bottom was still covered. I think the only time you ever saw the bottom is they actually covered the top of something. So they showed his bottom half of his head, but I don't know what the reason was, but he was covered on the top half, which was pretty smart.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Oh man.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I can see a series on Disney Plus, us, where every episode is like about a different character in the MCU that they wouldn't have time to make a movie about because they're too small.
Sounds very similar to what they're doing with the special presentations.
Yeah. I like these special presentations. I hope they can.
Yeah, they could.
I don't know what the hell they got planned next after the holiday special. But...
Some episodes are live action and some episodes are animation.
Yeah,
which I think would be a really cool idea for a series.
That'd be a great variety.
Well, do you have any final thoughts?
I cannot wait to hear more of the podcast, and I can't wait to have to see what you think of the animated series.
Yeah, if we can ever find it.
For that.
I might have found it. I might have found it, John.
Thank you for watching.
We'll see if I can get it to download.
And if you like this game analysis, please give a 5-star review. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the pilot movie, so please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more Gamma analysis is coming from me, so keep on the lookout. Expect, as I said last week, expect a lot of changes throughout the first 2 episodes as I figure out exactly how I want to keep formatting this going forward. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.
Yeah.
Oh man, this was quite the trip down memory lane.
Yeah, it makes me put things in perspective of like how long ago that was. It's crazy that it's been a year. So weird. Weird.
Oh, this I'm so happy that we did this because this really does give us an idea of like we have very much evolved doing this podcast.
Yep.
And we've become, and I would say we've become much closer of friends.
For sure.
Doing this.
Oh yeah, you can tell right off the bat we have such a much easier chemistry, easier going. I mean, not to say that we weren't really friendly in that episode. Mm-hmm. Obviously we were, but it was very much focused on the material, and focused on the notes.
I think focused on the material, focused on the notes, and I think, but I think as well though. That we both sort of had I don't know how it's best to describe it, but like how when you don't really know someone, but you're like you're coming on someone's say you're coming on someone's podcast, even though you're not acting friendly because you really know them and you are trying to and you like you just talk to them normally, but you're particularly trying to be super friendly. I
Yeah.
think both of us were trying to be super friendly to each other, or because us we just think that's what you're supposed to do when you're on a podcast,
Yeah.
instead of thinking of just talking normally as normal human beings.
There was definitely an anxiety or a nerves playing with our heads, but we were both, pulling off the friendly as can be
Yeah.
scenario as well as possible. And now it's very authentic. It feels very, very genuine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
How many episodes have we done together?
I most of the episodes together, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Let me see. So I'm gonna pull up my podcast feed on here on my phone. So
It's like not including the Patreon stuff, obviously. I mean, we've done an entire season of Hulk at least, and then three new episodes.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god. There's 11. Here. Oh man. 12. Let's see. 13. Nope, not that one. 14. And there's the finale for the first season of the 70s Hulk. 15 for and the Gamma Games.
Oh yes,
I love the Gamma Games were so fun.
They were so fun, and I had no clue what was going on. All those characters are a blur to me now. But
this 16 is 16 in with the Turning Red review.
Yes. Oh, that was a good one too. A couple of good extra guests too.
And then we had the then 17 with the season 2 premiere of the Incredible Hulk, and then 18 with the Thor Love and Thunder review.
Right.
And then we had the first half of the Powerpuff Girls script at 19.
Damn. So we've done over 20 then.
And then we had all 9 episodes of She-Hulk. So
wow,
that going up to 28. Right, and then
I did miss one of those though.
Yeah. I believe. And then we had the so I guess 27 after She-Hulk, so 28 with the Werewolf double feature.
Yep.
29 with our Powerpuff Girls script reading, in part 2, and then 30 with the already with our last 70s Hulk ones. So this is our 31st episode with you.
Woo! Made it to 31.
Man.
We've almost done as many episodes together as I've had years on this planet. Isn't that crazy?
Oh man.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to say what you wanted me to say in an announcer voice. All right. So before you criticize someone, you should walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you criticize them, you're a mile away from them and you have their shoes.
That is a joke from Jack Handy, which is a regular writer on SNL during the Adam Sandler years.
Yeah. All right. Well,
good times.
Before we end this episode off, is there any final things you'd like to say?
Thank you for this, inviting me on for so many of these episodes for this last year, and I'm excited to do more because we got so many more David Banner adventures to go through. And you know what? We know his name is Bruce.
Yeah,
we know, and I don't even care if that makes him gay.
Hey, a gay Hulk would be pretty awesome.
It would.
There should be an adaptation of Hulk that's gay.
There's green in the rainbow.
Yeah. Hey, I feel like that, like, I'm honestly surprised there hasn't been in the comics, with all the different personalities of Hulk and different versions of Hulk in the comics. I'm surprised there hasn't been a gay version,
It's coming.
which
It's
would be
coming. Don't worry.
honestly pretty awesome if there was.
I agree, 100%. It's on its
And
way.
it
I'm
would
sure.
piss off so many people, and it would make me
Yes.
so happy that it pissed them off.
Yes. That's what we're really in for it for.
Yeah,
Piss off the trolls.
just pissing off the assholes of the world.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So, thank you everyone for listening, and not just this episode, but over the past year that aired. It means so much to me that you guys listened, and I'm so glad that you guys have stuck around on listening all this time. And also thank you to everyone who has been guest on this show. And people who've helped me behind the scenes with different things for the show. So, as well, if you like this gamut analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on our reaction to ourselves, and how you feel about how we have evolved over the past year of doing this podcast. And if you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more gamma analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.